welcome very much to the program. Here we are in a place called Raymond Island. Yeah, that's where I am. It's in a place called Gippsland in the southern part of Victoria in Australia. Like if you think about Melbourne, you drive about 4 hours to the southeast and you'll find this spectacular little place. On that side of this passage of water, we've got a place called Paynesville, and where we are is Raymond Island. And I'm very lucky to have some friends that have got a great little house, and I've been very kindly invited here. So it's a quite chilly day. It's around about 1 o'clock in Melbourne at the moment, but in Thailand it's 9 a.m. So we've got a few things to talk about. Let's go inside and have a chat. And I'm sure you've got plenty of questions. We've got quite a lot of flooding happening in all sorts of parts of Thailand. So we'll get to the bottom of that. Plus the TAT, the ever optimistic TAT, pumping up those numbers again for tourists. We'll check that out as well. But welcome to TNT all the way from Raymond Island in Victoria. And I'm all rugged up because it's quite cool. We do have some friends here, by the way. There they are. That's enough of them. They're battling to be in the program. Wannabe stars. Do you wear underwear when you go to bed? Actually, I wear this top when I go to bed here, along with socks. So inside now. Oh God, they haven't done the washing. Let's just get this camera set up, and then we can get to the program. Really nice little place here. These friends, they bought it about, nearly 20 years ago. And it's fascinating that they've been able to do a complete renovation and turn it into a spectacular little holiday house. So it's very nice to be down here today. Look, thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to have a talk about floods, tourism, and I'm sure you've got plenty of things to say as well. Let's see where you're all coming from today. And I'll just move that over there. Here we go. And who have we got with us? We've got Alex. Hi, Alex. We've got Frank in Thailand. Hans, as usual. Mark, Anthony, Scott D, all the way from Chicago. I hope it's warmer in Chicago than it is here. We've got, who else? Nong Wu Sao. I always get your name wrong. I should sort of practice it and make sure I get it right. But really good to have you all with us. So I was going to have a talk about some of the main topics today. The Bangkok Post are reporting that there is a October tourist boom. Now, just to make it clear, hi Michael, that there has been a tourism boom, especially this weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, another long weekend for the occasion of the passing of King Bhumibol, who passed away on October the 13th, back in 2016. So they're really pumping up the numbers of the domestic tourism that's happening over this 4-day long weekend. And there's going to be another long weekend on October the 22nd to the 24th is the other long weekend. And that's going to be in lieu of the King Chulalongkorn Day, which falls on October the 23rd. So these long weekends are really actually a great opportunity for Thai tourism to sort of get back into a situation where at least the people going through hotels and the tills are working, and the Thai businesses and the Thai tourist trade is able to keep open. So quite an interesting situation where they're not only relying on but generating local domestic tourism whilst they're waiting for the tourists to arrive from overseas again. So, I mean, this is smart thinking by the TAT, not just to look at the overseas arrivals, which has sort of been languishing and still at only 20 to 25% of what we had back in 2019, the last year of a full tourism year. And they are chasing other markets. They're chasing, for example, the South Koreans. They're chasing, they're doing things in front of me. Wicked. They're going to do their best to upset the program. Also, they've had a TAT roadshow chasing South Korean tourists. So, I mean, they are looking locally to see what they can do to increase the number of tourists coming into the country. But not only that, they're getting the locals going to enjoy some domestic tourism. So, are you heading? If you're in Thailand, are you going somewhere domestically? Are you going to another province? Are you getting on a plane? Getting on a bus? Getting into your car? Are you doing some local tourism over this long weekend, or are you just enjoying some time at home? I mean, there's a lot of push to try and get people to travel more inside the country. There are 4 people here doing their best to try and make sure this is not going to go smoothly. Anyway, so that's what's happening with the tourism numbers. There has been a rise in overseas foreign tourists into Thailand since October the 1st. That's when all the restrictions were lifted and they increased the amount of time that people were able to stay here. For people on visa exemption, they were able to come from 30 days in the past to 45 days after October the 1st. And people on visa on arrival, rather than getting a 15-day stay, they automatically get a 30-day stay. And certainly that did push the numbers up. They sort of went up like that and they're slowly just coming back down and settling down again. So still a lot of work ahead to try and get tourists visiting Thailand at this time. Now, the other big story to talk about at the moment, I go click, click, and I go click, click again, is we've got another tropical storm coming through Thailand this weekend. Now, we know we had Noru, about 3 weeks ago, was quite a bad typhoon coming through Philippines. And then it made its way through Vietnam, Laos, and then into northeastern Thailand, dropped a lot of rain, and that rain is still causing flooding in northeastern Thailand, flooding in central Thailand, a lot of that now flowing down the Chao Phraya, making its way to Ayutthaya and starting to cause problems in Bangkok as well. And now we've got a storm called Songkha. Now, Songkha isn't as serious as the typhoon Noru. In fact, just looking at the synoptic chart, we can sort of have a look there. You can see that it's not half as strong. I think they're saying there that the highest winds are around about 35 to 40 knots. Now it was up to 60 or 70 knots, the tropical storm Noru, when it passed over Vietnam. But currently, it's just about to cross over the coastline of Vietnam. So that probably means tomorrow sometime, the tropical depression, which it will become, will then be heading over pretty much the same areas that got hit last time. Ubon Ratchathani, Sisaket, some of those central northeastern provinces before it keeps on fading out and crossing into central Thailand. But this tropical storm, although the wind is not as heavy as it was with Noru, is still going to drop plenty of rain. So to watch out for certainly this weekend. It's called Storm Songkha, and it looks like it will be getting into Thailand probably tomorrow. So that's some of the main stories. Now, there is flooding right around Thailand. Strangely enough, when I arrived in Melbourne on Wednesday, since then there's been some quite heavy rain in the city of Melbourne, and an area, or a river called the Maribyrnong River, which flows through the western side of the city, has been overflowing. Now, it doesn't happen that often. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen it as serious as it was yesterday morning. All the Today shows, the morning shows, were pretty much live, showing the severe flooding of the Maribyrnong River and people being rescued from their homes. So flooding here in Melbourne, not just in parts of Thailand. So yeah, we do have a tropical storm heading towards Thailand. It will get to, it'll probably cross over the Mekong sometime early tomorrow and then start dropping some rain as it slowly decreases in strength, but probably expected to drop a lot of rain. Only 3 weeks after we had the tropical storm Noru pass through the same area. So thoughts to all those people up there in northeastern and central Thailand who are suffering from floods at the moment, and let's hope things slowly improve for you. Yeah, just a pretty bad situation all around. So let's go to some of your comments and questions, always welcome, of course. And I suppose I should also acknowledge that we had a lot of people talking about some of the discussions and the news and the commentary about the CNN reporter and cameraman who sneaked their way into the crime scene up in northeast Thailand, last Friday last week. And I tried to put a lot of it into context at the time, but a lot of people either misinterpreted it or decided they were going to be offended. And the person who's... I told them they can just walk past, it doesn't matter, you're not going to bother, but they're still being very quiet. But a lot of people decided they were going to be offended by the fact that I was trying to clarify what happened with the CNN reporter and the cameraman. A lot of people even contacting my sponsor saying that they're never going to go on 5-Star Marine because I was supporting the CNN. Well, if anybody can actually show at any stage when I was supporting what they were doing, which was clearly wrong, then I'd happily admit it. But I didn't. I was really just clarifying the situation and trying to put it into context and point out that the Thais were doing a lot worse. But that's sort of behind us, and I appreciate that a lot of people decided that they were going to be offended over the fact that I did try to clarify the situation. Okay, let's see if we've got some comments or some questions that we can address, and I'll do my best. So if you want to know anything about Raymond Island or Gippsland in Victoria, I can say today it's probably around about 15, 16 degrees. We've got quite a strong breeze coming in from the, I'm not sure what direction that is. That's probably the, I don't know what direction that is, but that's where the wind's coming from. And okay, Mark in Thailand, currently back in Melbourne, but back in 14 days. Saw a lot of farang around Asok when we were there, says Hans. Agree with you. Frank, Ukraine is a complete tragedy. Okay, we're not really going to be talking about that. Frank Weston says Thailand has been wise. They are neutral on Russia, which is good for tourism. We're off to Thailand 2 months starting next Thursday. Noting that Thailand did, in fact, abstain in a vote at the UN last week about some referenda which were held by Russia about its annexation of parts of Ukraine. Some people saying that by Thailand abstaining, they're not taking sides, and they should be supporting the West and Europe and NATO and the coalition. But that's not what happened. Thailand has made a professional work job out of being neutral for the past 200 or 300 years. So it's not something new, Thailand maintaining its neutrality in some of these situations. Do not forget to hit that thumbs up, says Nikki Dunn. Thank you very much. If you would like to hit the thumbs up, I would be eternally grateful. And also if you get the opportunity to subscribe to the channel. I think we're over 11 million, heaven forbid, 11,000 subscribers. But it is quite cold here at the moment. And during, excuse me, I'm sorry, that went straight into the mic. So during the daytime, you can sort of rug up and put 2 or 3 layers on and it's okay. But at nighttime, even though you're under 13 layers of doonas and things and you're all sort of cozy under there, you are breathing in this cold air. And we've had a few sore throats down here the last few days. Tim, it's really Nong Wua So, which is 60 kilometres from Udon Thani. So I hope you've been okay in regards to flooding. Have you had much flooding around Udon Thani? Okay, Nong Wua So. I'll try and say that correctly in the future. Okay, what else have we got here? We can see the reflection. What reflection have we got? Bad reflections there? I'm facing the window. I'm looking out towards the view. So that's the view that I can see. Isn't it pretty? It's a really beautiful part of the world here. The water is quite high. In fact, last year they had some floods and the water came over the road, but we're probably elevated here around about 2 or 3 metres. So no matter how strong how bad any flooding gets here, it won't get so bad that we're going to have acute problems. What else have we got? My wife, this is from Frank Weston. I'm reading these comments completely randomly. By the way, two things. Firstly, the show will be a little bit shorter today. And secondly, I'm on some Telstra, which is one of the telco companies here in Australia. I'm on some plan. $30 for 30 gigabytes. And it's cost me $30. And oh no, I upgraded $40. I'm getting 40 gigabytes. I don't know how long that's going to last. So this could cut out at any time. But hopefully it'll see us out through the half hour today. My wife has got her new 10-year passport in the Netherlands. So if we cross to Laos on December the 5th, we can head over to Laos for a few days and get back to Thailand to avoid a Thai visa. Okay, thank you. Not sure if Tim, angle the camera up. What, have we got a problem? Looks okay to me. Smash that like, it's free, says Nikki. Good morning. Why do women rule our lives? That's just the way it's been throughout history. I think that's the way things are. 138 watching and 48 likes. It's dreadful, isn't it, Mark? Okay. So yeah, this has been a little bit of a trial this week. I'm sort of here on a semi-holiday, but I am trying to make sure I do the program every day. And I really enjoy doing the program. I enjoy communicating what's happening in Thailand, trying to interpret some of the news for you because some of the reporting is pretty bad. And we try and put it into context, try to explain some of the sort of the news behind the news. And when some of the media do get it wrong, I try and do my best to explain why I do think they've got it wrong and give you the correct facts. Bob B. Hi Tim, are Australia maps really upside down or flat? Are they flat? Of course maps are flat. Well, maps aren't curved. They're not upside down. It's interesting, I mean, it is called the land down under, but I've never felt like I'm hanging upside down when I'm in Australia, even though when I'm in the Northern Hemisphere, I sort of standing upright. You'd think coming down under, you'd feel like you're hanging upside down, but I don't, strangely. Just one of those wonders of nature. Nikki Dunn, it's a beautiful area, my old stomping ground. What are we talking about here? Good morning, Jen's early for you, says Frank in Thailand. What else have we got? Can you pay in US dollars to cross the First Federation Bridge into Laos? That's an interesting question. I think both Cambodia and Laos and Myanmar love US dollars, especially crisp new ones. So maybe not so much getting across the bridge, but once you're into Laos, Cambodia and Myanmar, my understanding is they're quite happy to see US dollars still the main currency in the world. Okay, Bob, we're the right way up to you, that's upside down. Which way do the toilets spin? Well, that's interesting, isn't it? The Coriolis effect. So in the same way that cyclones in Australia go the opposite way to typhoons and hurricanes in the Northern Hemisphere, which go that way, our toilets, depending on the make of the toilet and how it's designed, but if you just leave it to gurgle down the drain itself, the Coriolis effect is, yes, indeed, the opposite direction to the Northern Hemisphere. We could go to the toilet now and check that out if you like, or you could just take my word for it. Take my word for it, okay. Somebody's talking about this friendship bridge into Laos. Unfortunately, one dead already there in Victoria. Oh, okay. So I'm not sure where that is. The flooding I'm talking about, by the way, is up to the west, direct west of Melbourne, so very close to the city in an area called the Maribyrnong River. So very sad to hear if somebody has died. Down in this part of the world, it hasn't been raining quite so much this week, and I've seen some wet paddocks, but I haven't seen major flooding at all in this part. It's about a 4-hour drive to get here. We rented a Toyota Corolla Hybrid. And all the way from Melbourne down here, this little car only used a quarter of a tank of petrol, so I thought that was pretty good. After here, we're going to be driving from Gippsland up the coast of Victoria and then New South Wales, making our way to Sydney early next week. So each day the program is going to be coming to you from different little coastal towns on the way up to Sydney. Just went a bit too far. Let's scroll down. Can you pay in euros on the first French? Oh, Frank, I can't answer your questions, so hopefully people in the conversation can answer it. I don't know anything about getting across the first Friendship Bridge into Laos. If anybody in our conversation can help Frank, please do so quickly as possible. Okay, I'll call private for a reason. Tim, use the kitchen sink, no need for the toilet. Oh, it's much more fun with the toilet, I think. Frank, please do not take this personally, Tim, but you are so reticent about your private life. Have you something to be reserved about, perhaps? And if so, I understand and don't want to infringe. You have absolutely no idea, and I promise nothing interesting in my private life. But it is private, and I tend to keep it that way. Because when I turn the cameras off, then I'm just very ordinary, just living a suburban, ordinary life. But there's nothing to be hidden in my private life. Good heavens, no. Love your reports, Tim. So chilled and to the point, says Nikki Dunn. Thank you very much. I take the compliment. Had enough swipes this week, I tell you. Hi, Tim, from Swansea in the UK. 3:18 a.m. Flights to Thailand. Get this from Michael, everybody. £1,500 won't be coming until next year. How many of you have been prevented from coming back to Thailand if you're looking to come or travelling for a holiday? Or indeed, if you're in Thailand wanting to go back home, what have you found in regards to your travel plans? We were quite lucky to get some quite inexpensive airfares. I note, though, when we checked the day after, that they were about double the price. But that's the games that the websites play with when you return to the same website. The cookies can follow you and double the prices. So, always urge you, if you are booking online, always use a new private window or use a VPN so they can't track you and play with the prices the way they do. So you're coming here, we were on a discount airline called Scoot, and we were on a part of the branding called Scoot Plus, which is like a, what do you call it, economy plus type thing. There's a word for it, something economy. But yeah, we got slightly bigger seats and we get a meal and we get to sort of get on board first and stuff like that. And it wasn't that much more expensive than economy at the time. So I think it was around about $600 each way, which probably isn't too bad at the moment. And that's from Phuket via Singapore into Melbourne. And I'm flying the reverse to get back. I'd like to, so what have we got? 3:30 from Nikki Dunn. Got to be up in a few hours. Go to bed. Good to have caught some of the live. We'll catch up. Thank you very much, Nikki. Go and have a good sleep and good luck with your day. Prices in US significantly higher than pre-COVID. Booked our trip in May and so far we're on our fourth itinerary trip. Time has gone from 28 to 33 hours. Is that the travel time? It's a long time to be sitting in airports and aeroplanes. Okay, Frank Weston, I don't want to offend anybody and I'm grateful for any advice. I may be 67, but I still learning, guys, while I have time to. Okay. Take care, everybody. And that's Nikki saying goodbye. Mark, Tim, in May, I paid 795 Australian dollars return This time it's $1,490. Now, between now and say the end of January, if you're coming to Thailand, actually if you're heading anywhere in the world, it's going to be peak pricing. And it's going to be peak pricing on top of the high prices that were already around. I actually see that we're going to have, it'll be a high season. We'll have more people here in Thailand, but because of the high pricing on top of the high pricing, I think we're going to have quite a quiet high season, although there will definitely be more tourists, and I think the numbers will drop off again after the high season. It's going to take quite a while for tourism to recover, especially here in Thailand. So here in Thailand, there in Thailand, I predict it's literally going to take not just years, but it could be up to a decade to get back to the sort of pre-2019 numbers. That's a lot to pay for airfares, Mark. He says, Dream Mix, come on through. That's Anita. Do you want to come and say hello? No, she doesn't want to come and say hello. She does actually. Yeah, she's not inclined to speak on the camera. Frank in Thailand, yeah, wants to go and see the toilet. I don't think we will. Okay, let's see. Age should not be a barrier to knowledge. In fact, the old wise owl theory might work in my favour. Yeah, it's something. Somebody saying hello to Anita. I should be delighted to hear that. Somebody paid $3,800. What's that for? $3,800. That's ridiculous. December flight, Melbourne to Bangkok, return. $3,800, says Mark in Thailand. That is crazy expensive. Be interested to know, Mark, if you could tell us which airline that's with. We do note also over the past 2 months, Jetstar Airways has had an enormous amount of problems. They've got about half their Boeing 787 fleet grounded for various reasons. Problems with finding people to do maintenance, problems with getting parts. And I have somebody I spoke to last week who's been in Phuket for 3 weeks. 3 weeks after they were meant to return to Australia on a Jetstar flight, Jetstar being a discount offshoot of Qantas, the national airline. And they're just sitting back and enjoying because Jetstar are paying them $100 Australian a day to get accommodation, which will get you a nice 4-star hotel, especially at the moment, and $30 a day for food, which will certainly give you enough for some food. Very good food indeed. So they're sort of just enjoying the extended holiday. Okay, if you can get the time off and enjoy the extended time, but pretty hard if you have to get back to work or get the kids back to school or something. So Jetstar have had huge problems over the last 4 weeks. They say that's up to some 10,000 passengers have been affected by the problems they've had with their flights, especially with places like Bali, Phuket, Bangkok, even Japan. The Japan flights for Jetstar have had a lot of problems as well. So big problems for that airline. I don't know why they can't seem to sort it out. I'm glad to say, touch wood, I haven't had the same problems with Scoot Airways. So lucky me. Okay, let's see. I've never left England. What? This is from Frank Weston. I never left England until I was 36, Tim, but since then I've travelled with my wife to 27 countries in Europe and 7 in Asia. Love to visit New Zealand, but Aussie land does not appeal. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not sure why it wouldn't appeal, as the wide brown land has lots to see and some very beautiful places indeed. Tim, your sister could be the weather girl. That's not my sister, by the way. I'd like to have a weather girl. This is Jan. She could be the weather girl. Do you want to come and say hello?
Hello.
Are you going to come and say hello?
Okay, I'll come say hello.
This is Jan, who is my best friend's mum. So everybody says, Mark says, hi, Jan.
Hi.
This is live.
Live, is it?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, so I'm on live television.
Yes. So tell us, how often do you come down to Raymond Island?
Oh, as often as my son brings me down,
Okay. So
and it's fairly often, yes.
and you live alone in a place called Mornington?
I do, yes. I do live all alone in a place called Mornington, but in saying that, I'm not all alone.
No, exactly. You've got the family around you.
Yes, I do.
And
yeah.
you're just a few more years than 40 now.
Oh, you're being very kind, Tim. Few more years, quite a few more years than 40.
Would you like to share your dotage?
My dotage. Yes, I'm 85.
And doing very well for 85 indeed. Raymond Island, tell us quickly why you like Raymond Island.
I think it's because it's across the water and we can come across by boat, by ferry, and in that time you can get rid of all your city feelings and anxieties, and you can get off the ferry and feel you're in an absolute heaven.
Now, how many people live here? I think it's about 500 or something?
Not too many.
Yeah.
More than there used to be, but yes, there'd be 500 or 600 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've known Jan she's known me since I was about this high. And yeah, I mean, it's really good that you are living the life into your 80s and still in pretty good health.
I am, yes, and that I can put that down to my children who are very caring and look after me beautifully. So
Give us a pearl of wisdom. What is your secret to good health and longevity?
I think it's being very positive in life and not getting too anxious over things, yes.
Good. Damn good advice. Thanks, Jan.
My pleasure.
What are you reading? Oh, God. That's heavy going.
Oh, yes, but it's interesting.
All right.
Yes, it gives me a whole new way of looking at how these organisations and these countries started
Okay.
and what they had to go through. Yes.
All right. Keep feeding that brain.
Oh, I do.
Thanks,
Thank
Jan.
you, Tim. I'll catch you later.
There we go. Special guest. I think actually, if I look at TNT, the first special guest we've ever had on TNT. Wow. Out of 100 shows. That's Jan. Isn't that great? So, and in Melbourne today, it will be hot, cold, rainy, and later fine. Yes, people do say, thank you, Lance, we have 4 seasons in one day. And if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes. So that was Jan, just out of nowhere in particular. Okay. Jan is very broad-minded. Yeah, she is. And it's really great to see people living longer and living healthier. And I hope I can do the same. And it's great to have great examples there like Jan, who is the mother of my best mate for many, many, many years. So great to see her doing so well and enjoying life down here on Raymond Island. Now, they say there's about 500 permanent people living here, and there's around about, in the tourist season, they get up to 2,000 people or so on the island. There's no businesses on the island. There's not even a cafe. There's no 7-Elevens. There's no street stalls or anything. It's mostly just kangaroos and koalas, and in the summer, a couple of thousand mosquitoes. So, but it's a beautiful little place, and you get here by ferry, a car ferry, and it takes about 1 minute to get from Paynesville to the island. So if you ever hear, I should give out the address, should I, Anita? And they can drop in and see you. She's always got the kettle on. How do you do without a 7-Eleven? That's a very good question. Can we see a kangaroo of the live show? I could actually probably show you a koala, but there's a koala in one of the trees in the backyard. But it's a bit hard to see. It's not a big koala, by the way. Your accent is more Aussie now you're back there, says Ian 44444. Oh dear. Okay. And with that, look, we've had a talk about the tropical storm heading to Thailand that will probably be getting into Thailand sometime tomorrow. and then making its way through the north and the northeast. And then also we had to talk about the domestic tourist boom over this weekend. So we might finish the program today by going back outside and just giving you a last look at the view. We could go and have a quick look and see if we can see the koala. We'd try that. We'll see if we can see the koala out the back. You want to see a koala live, don't you? All I can say about this particular family is they love their boats. We've got about 4 boats in the backyard here, including this absolutely magnificent speedboat, which is very old but still doing well. Now, where's this koala? I think the koala's moved. There it is up there. Now, if you look up in that tree, you might see a sort of a bundle of grey. I'm not sure, it's pretty hard to point out. I think sort of up there, but that's a koala. Not very exciting, is it? Not very exciting at all. Anyway, it's not going to drop on me, is it? Oh, there might be another one up there as well. You usually find them in pairs. You know what it's like. Oh, goodness gracious. It's very cold and windy. You might get a little bit of wind noise as I just come out the front. So I'm going to end up down the front of the property as we sort of wind up today. Just walking down, don't really want to identify the house, get my friend and his family in trouble. Well, they've done anything wrong, but we don't want people dropping in. Is Tim there? So my friend is just getting his boat ready. We're going for a sail this afternoon. And there's a lot of black swans having cygnets, little baby swans at the moment. We'll get to see them. I think they've gone for they've gone shopping. Oh, there they are down there. So we finished today with my friend getting the boat ready. It's going to be a very nice afternoon to have a sail. Quite windy, probably about 15 to 20 knots of wind. Sorry if you're getting a bit of wind noise at the moment. But Raymond Island, a very, very nice part of the world. And I'm very lucky to have friends that are kind enough to invite me down to see the place. And the other side of this passage here is the town of Paynesville. So very lucky and a nice break. Tomorrow I actually have the day off. Monday I'm back online having a talk to you about all the latest Thai news. So all the way from Paynesville in Victoria, a remote TNT, and our very first live guest on the program, Jan. So she'll always be my first live guest, something I'll probably try and do more in the future as a helicopter goes over the top. People trying to find out where I am, of course. Been great having you with us. Hope you have a fantastic weekend wherever you are in the world. It's been another honour to have the opportunity to chat with you, and I really enjoy doing this. So let's do it on Monday when I've got another TNT bringing you all the headlines. But from Raymond Island in Gippsland in Victoria, Australia, we say farewell and have a fantastic weekend.